Hey y'all, we're back. Appreciate all the comments and the questions. And speaking of questions,
We got a question or two.
well, let's get into answering some of them.
Well, we might as well. All right. First question, David Cormack. Billy, where did you first stay when you moved from Tupelo to Memphis? Well, I think that was in our book and all, but to answer David and all, when we left Tupelo, I was 5 years old and Elvis was 13. That was 1948. And we moved to Memphis, and we lived in older building that they had turned into apartments. They had a downstairs apartment, an upstairs apartment. Like Gladys and them lived downstairs, we lived upstairs. And that was on Washington Street. And that's where we first, we lived next to a produce store and all, and that's where I found me bananas.
Mr. Magolio.
Yep, Mr. Magolio, and his son was named Frankie, and I think his daughter was named Rose. And that's where we lived at that time. Later, we moved a little more than Elvis did, but pretty much within a block or two. We moved from Washington Street to where people now know where the jail is. That was a big old apartment building. We lived on Poplar, and Poplar and 3rd. And we moved from there to across the street, which was right across from the Lauderdale courts. Elvis and them moved to the Lauderdale courts, and we had moved to Poplar and then to that apartment building. It was, I think, one time a clinic or something, and they had changed it into apartments, and we moved there. The old building that we moved from on Poplar, they tore it down. It was condemned. And I know when I was a little boy and all, and this is a true story, I was laying on the bed and all, little bunk bed that we had, and I had my hand over on the side, and I don't know if I had candy on it or what, but a rat actually bit me on the finger. And of course there was rats in there, boy, I'm telling you, golly dog. But you know, that's
Not just animals.
that was yeah.
Rodents, not just rodent rats.
No, these suckers, man, you know, they'd carry a ham off if they got a chance, you know. But anyway, we moved from that nice infested place to across the street, which was somewhat nicer. And that was on 3rd Street. Then we moved from there to Mosby Street, which is 3 blocks down. And all this is right around the Lauderdale courts. And during that time, Elvis had moved from the Lauderdale courts to Alabama Street, and we moved from Mosby to High Street, which was Alabama right here, Mosby, and then High, and 2 blocks again. So, you know, up until Elvis bought a house on Getwell, we always lived pretty close, you know, until Elvis started traveling a lot. And not until we moved from Elvis moved to Audubon Drive, my daddy went to work for him as a security guard, and then that was on Audubon. Then from Audubon, Aunt Gladys, Uncle Vernon, Elvis, and me and my mama and my brother moved to Graceland. And we lived in a house out back of Graceland and all. But so on with that story. But that pretty much answers that one. That's pretty much a history up until, you know. Then we had a question here it falls under the same lines. Right here. Says, what happened to Graceland when Elvis was in the Army? Was there anyone else living there while he was away? And this is Mr. May. Yes, my daddy and my mama and me and my brother still lived in the house out back while Elvis was in the Army. And his Uncle Vester was working for him at that time, and my Uncle Johnny. And all of them, pretty much we all took care of Graceland while Elvis was in the Army. I know Uncle Vernon came back one time. He had to come back for some kind of business deal that was going on, and took care of that. Now he stayed here for about a week, and that was 59. And of course, I got to talk to Elvis a couple of times on the phone while he was in Germany. And you know, he'd ask how I was doing, how was I helped him take care of Graceland. You know, I was just a teenager then. Naturally, I told him that we were, and so on. And but that's what happened during that time, and that led into that question. So that's the reason I answered it. And so I guess I can move from that to something. Let me see. Got one here. If I can just pronounce the name right. Yep, there. Here we go. It's going to be hard to pronounce that name. For me, anyway. Who maintained Graceland? That was Simon Harrison. Two people asked the same question. So how I got both of them. Ayesha Kalik, I hope I pronounced your name right. It said, did Elvis ever win a game of pool? If you wanted to play with Elvis, he won.
He won all of it.
He won every game, but no, I'm just teasing. Elvis wasn't a bad pool player. Certainly better than I was, He always had the better pool players on his side. Most of the time we played doubles, and we'd play 8-ball. And so he always had the best pool player on his side, and naturally.
That was in any game.
Any game, yeah. What was funny was, that sucker, you had to watch him. I know one time we was playing and we was real close to winning, and I think we were like two balls away from, ending the game, and they had like three balls, and anyway, he went around the table, and when we wasn't looking, he run right off in the pocket. And, oh no,
No, he wouldn't do that.
I didn't do that. Y'all just don't know what you talking about. And so anyway, yeah, but he was a character, a lot of fun. I mean, any game he played, he made, he made it where it was fun. And yeah, he won. Answer your question, he won a whole lot of pool games. In fact, I'll tell you about one that a friend of mine tells quite often. His name is Jerry Cochran, and he had come up there. Elvis had let some of them up, and him being a friend of mine and all, and he come up there and he was shooting a game of pool, and so they was getting really close to winning. That's down to the 8-ball, and it was Jerry's shot. So Elvis said, look, Ace, that's what he was calling him at the time. He said, you make this shot here and you're out of here. And Jerry said, I didn't know what to do, but you got to listen to Jerry's story, and his name's Jerry Cochran going there, and you'll probably see it. But anyway, Jerry made the shot, and so he'd get up and he started walking out, because he didn't know what to. And Elvis said, "Where are you going?" He said, "Well, you said if I made this shot, I was out of here." He said, "So I'm." He said, "Man, get on back in here." He said, I'm just kidding." He said, "That's just my way of joking with you." And so he started laughing. They sat down, and from there on, all the poo games went Elvis's way.
Probably the best way, wasn't it?
Yep. And with that, let me see, we got one more here, I think, that we can really get into. If we can't, we won't get into it. It says Rosie Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
Were any of y'all asked by Elvis or Vernon to sign confidentiality, non-disclosure agreements? About that long. We wouldn't talk unless, most of us were mute, deaf, dumb, and mute. Now, all of us are dumb, but we became rather mute too. I signed so many confidentiality things that I got writer's cramp. Boy, I didn't, I knew not to say anything or do anything without, no, I'm just kidding y'all. Seriously, no. That's a good question, but no, Elvis and Vernon were not that strict. No, Elvis picked the people he wanted, and
that's what I was just thinking.
And he knew who he could pretty much, trust. If you broke that trust, somehow or another, it didn't take long for it to get back to him, and you were out there. But believe it or not, most of the ones he chose, except for maybe 2 or 3 over the years, were still there, and and
just that
extremely,
bond.
Extremely trustworthy. And we all had pretty much the same goal in mind. That was to take care of Elvis and his needs. So that'll take care of that. I didn't see no need for signing nothing, mainly because I couldn't write. But Rosie, I'd ask you a question.
I don't know about writing. I know you can't read. No, I'm just picking at you.
Well, I can't read or write. Look, man, I can't help it if I'm illiterate.
Well, hey, like we say, appreciate all these questions, and we are getting a lot of questions in, so just keep them coming.
Who told you could chime in on this?
Okay, go ahead.
You didn't say, are you through?
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
I
always get in trouble when I cut him off, so go ahead.
No, that's all right. I've been cut off all my life. Go ahead. You got anything you want to add?
Nope.
Okay, come on, Danny.
No, I wouldn't say nothing now.
You wouldn't?
Nope.
Oh, man, I know you got something. Come on. Just want anything. Okay.
I do.
You got a question, right?
No, just a lot of people have asked, the best place to ask a question is put it in the comments under one of our videos. That's the best place to put it, so we'll get it written down, and then we'll review it to see if we answer it.
Right, okay. But y'all, I hope y'all all heard that. And like we always say, we appreciate your questions. Enjoy answering them. They bring back little stories, and that that spurs your mind and keeps things going. And with that, I'm going to go off into the twilight zone, because I know that's where I'm at right now, because nothing seems normal. Danny, Teresa, Joe.
Excuse me.
Do. Nah.
Hey, you know what? I do have one thing to say right
You
quick.
do? Okay,
Yeah. What do we always say? We always live Elvis.